Whether it's the increased buyer demand on the market causing low inventory on those resale homes or the desire to live somewhere where no one else has lived and just really kind of make that space their own, buyers are flocking with their agents to new construction communities. I'm Robbie English, and I'm joined with Nelson Chang and Carrie Seetsama. And this week we're talking about new construction and everything that goes with it. Actually, really not. We narrowed it down to five things, and then we realized we wanted to do five more things.
There's a
So
lot.
next week we're going to do a continuance and have five more things about new construction to kind of top it off. We don't want to give you too much all at once. It might like kind of, you know, cause it to be too packed of a
Overwhelming.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
So
information.
yeah, there is, right?
Yes. How y'all doing today?
How are we doing? Happy
Doing good.
Yeah. It's great. It's
Wow.
President's Day. It's a good Monday. I'm sure
Mhm.
there's a lot of people who have off today. So that's a good day to go see
Yeah.
houses, especially new builds, because they usually have sales and things like that, right? Where you never know, they might give you an incentive to buy with them. So that's something to always look around and shop for at this time of the year.
Absolutely. It's always fun to work on new construction.
Oh,
Um, so one of the top things that we've kind of talked about kind of presenting today was a little bit of the buyer advantages even of new construction. And what are those? What do you think that somebody's really going to want to tackle and really achieve by going new construction? You know?
new construction. I love it. There's things like I mentioned last week, coming from California. One thing that we looked forward to is buying a new construction because it's something we've never had, right? I'm sure a majority of people that want that, they feel the same way. It's something so, you know, we grow up. It's human nature to want what we can't have, and once you have the opportunity to do so, you want it and you do it, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
I don't. There's another advantage that we can think about. How would you feel about being able to build what you want, the color of paint you want, being able to do the type of cabinets that you want, right?
Everything being new. Nobody taking a crap in that toilet but prior. Everything is fresh. And that some people that matters.
Still might want to clean it with Clorox though before you use it.
I would agree. I totally would agree.
You never know. I have a funny story about that. The house that we moved into here from California, the toilet was flushing, but it wasn't working so well. We didn't know why, so we called a plumber and he moved the toilet aside. There was a liter bottle of Coke upside down stuck in the pipe, and it was not flushing.
Wow.
So
That's kind of crazy.
yeah, you never
Yeah.
know. You'll find some crazy things, find some awesome things at a new build. But I love the fact that everything is technically new and it's built to the way you want it. See, I'm a preference and I'm a lover of 30-inch cabinets. What about y'all? Do you like 30, 42-inch? Do you like going a little taller?
I like 42 and plus. I like the space. I get too much stuff in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I don't feel it, but I have too much stuff in the kitchen.
It's just we buy. And I'm a fan of minimalistic lifestyle. Less is more for me. But being self-employed and my wife being self-employed as well, she's a baker. We need all the space you can get because you've got mixing bowls left and right, baking pans up and down. It's just you need those 54-inch cabinets. Like
Right? What do you do with the extra space up there? It collects dust.
yeah, it just collects dust. You can make it look like beautiful art. You can put flowers up there. It's just there's a lot
Nah.
of possibilities.
That reminds me of the 80s. All those homes with the insets up above that you have to get up there and dust and clean.
Yeah,
And you
that's
walk in and go, oh, that's a really cool nook, but really it's not. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So,
um, what about all new systems and wiring? And, basically everything is new from all the mechanicals, the electrical, the plumbing, everything like that, but even the appliances. So they all have that original warranty and everything because, hey,
yeah, of course.
I like it.
Hey, I would love to have me a built-in stovetop fireplace made out of Viking. Like, who wouldn't want one of those? Like,
Right.
that's something you can get at a custom build or a new construction. Yeah, you'd have to put in the money up front for it, but you'd be able to have it if that's what you really want.
Yeah. You would. And there are a bunch of add-ons and finishes that are out there for a consumer to put into a home, but you have to be careful
Yeah,
because, you can very quickly outvalue what your house is even worth by
yeah,
putting in too many improvements that you won't ever get the money out of. And
yeah.
that's why,
Yeah,
I go
that's
with my
true.
clients even to those um, new construction meetings as far as going to the design center and stuff, because it's like, oh, hold on. I know it's really cool, but
Yeah, and another thing about that is budgeting. Budgeting is very important because being at that design studio, you can outrun that budget in a matter of seconds. And
well, that's what they're
So
supposed to. It's
true.
kind of like going in and buying a Ferrari. They bring all the finishes out and all the stuff, and it's all upsell, upsell, upsell. So, that's what it's all about. So, and
And
you can pick the different grades, 1 through 4 or 5 different grades of
yeah,
granite and
mhm.
carpet and cabinets to
Yeah.
get Nelson all excited, and everything
Love
from
that
there.
carpet. Whee!
And those model homes have the top on everything.
Oh,
That's one of the
definitely.
key things there.
That's how
and
they.
one thing that I've noticed looking at the upgrades that they're offering in the design centers, a lot of times what you would pay the builder to upgrade it initially would be more than what you could actually pay later on down the line to just have it switched out by a contractor.
Yeah,
Yeah, and get a Craigslist account. I mean,
definitely.
people are like, "What do I do with the old stuff?" Put it on Craigslist.
Yeah,
Just dump
sell
it.
it.
Who cares? Because the
Yeah,
aspect is, you also have more choices at a lighting store
Hmm.
than you're going to
right.
have at the builder.
Yeah, it's one thing that I learned is ask your designer or design studio, when does the builder markup take place? There'll be a builder marker for everything, but level 1 and level 2 are not as high as what level 4 and level 5 would be. And maybe the builder market really starts at that level. So be aware and ask those kind of questions, because before you know it, you might like a level 4 quartz that is all white and it's 3 centimeters thick. That might be builder's markup of an extra 400%. I don't know if you're willing to pay that much of a difference. So
How big?
maybe 3 centimeters. So that's not even,
Come on.
that's
Yeah, I
nothing.
mean,
Yeah,
we judge a kitchen by the thickness of its marble, right? And
exactly.
granite. We want not just the edge, but we all kind of reach under and kind of touch that.
Yep.
I do it when I go visit people's houses, and you're in the kitchen, you just kind of touch and kind of like, well, where are we? But
Hmm.
yeah, that's things that the
Yeah,
thickness of the
yeah,
surface matters.
yeah. And all of that stuff has a markup. So like Robbie was saying, create a Craigslist account, find someone there that does these jobs. You'll find many jobs on there that people do this for a living, and you will find the same workers that have work on site that actually have an account on Craigslist and promote their business there. It doesn't hurt to just find one and save yourself that money instead of paying that markup, where you can now customize it even fully more. Maybe there's some limitations on a new build that the builder's not offering, but now you can get what you want. So something.
What about that perception of low maintenance than buying a resale home? You ever think that kind of kicks in there too with some buyers? They think, everything's new.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of look at it and say, well, there's a trade-off too, because the resale home is already kind of settled. And everybody in Texas knows that if you're buying a house in Texas, it's probably going to have some kind of foundation quirk with it. It may be fine, but you have to really see. I like those homes that have kind of settled a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because the ones that go like bloop and kind of crack in the middle, it's kind of a concern.
Yeah, but
But
maintenance is a big thing. I mean, how many people take care of every item in their house? Let's be real. I don't dust my molding on the floor. Like, that's probably something I should be doing, but I really don't get to the top corners and actually get the vacuum, even though it's so easy. It's something I avoid all the
yeah, but Mariah does.
time. She does. I'm sure she
I'm
does.
sure she does. She probably
Yes.
can't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can't deal with it.
Yeah, no,
Hey,
there's a lot of maintenance to a house. There's things like even the windows, like double pane, the gas in between those two panes of window, they evaporate over time. You need to get those windows replaced, and that's maintenance. That costs money to do it, to also get them replaced. That can be expensive, but in a new build, you are guaranteed to have maintenance-free repairs for a while. And usually,
what? Don't say guarantee.
No,
only thing,
yeah, I guess nothing's
that's kind
guaranteed.
of well, I mean, builder does kind of assert, but I
Yeah,
hate the
that's
word
true.
guarantee on anything.
Yeah, guarantee is a big word there, yeah. Because you also you have to be persistent with them if you need something to get fixed, because they're also busy making those other constructions down the road. And so, yeah, guarantee is a strong word that I shouldn't have used, but it is more of like they will get to it when they have the time.
Well, most good builders also have warranties. So,
Mhm.
they're offering a home warranty, but everybody needs to understand that the state of Texas does not mandate builders to provide home warranties. So, there are going to be some builders out there that don't have them.
Yeah.
But Carrie, you want to rock us through the 1-2-10s of what a home warranty covers?
Yeah, so 1-2-10s, we'd be talking about a year for the workmanship, about 2 years for the plumbing and the HVAC system, and 10 years for structural defects.
Yeah, and a lot of that's really good because really, I think about month 8, month 9 in new construction, you got to like be pulling that list together of all the stuff that needs to be fixed so you can get that scheduled with the builder before that 1 year mark. But then you've got 2 years for plumbing and HVAC, and if structurally it's not sound or stuff, it's 10 years. But anytime that there is a home warranty in place or a builder warranty, you can actually extend it up to 5 years by closing, but before it expires, you need to have renewed it. That's key because you have to get it back at a regular rate later on instead of the real estate rate, because that ain't good.
I know, and it's one thing I wanted to bring up too about warranty is that builder's warranty is also very strict. Make sure you read it, because there'll be things in there that are covered, but you need to do your due diligence and take care of what needs to be done so that it can be taken care of. Foundation is one of the things, right? Some builders warranty, if you read it thoroughly, it states that the foundation needs to be taken care of and have its maintenance. If there is water flowing too close to the side of the foundation, do your duty and plant shrubs or trees that actually can absorb that water instead of it going underneath the foundation.
Foundation plants, absolutely.
There's and in their warranty binder or booklet, whichever you get, it'll state all the things that you need to do to take care of that, because if you don't, it voids your warranty.
So what are some of the things that it would typically exclude?
I believe acts of God, right? It can be anything like that, like misuse, wear and tear. It's something that we're always going to do, right? Because we're living in it. We're not going to cover for our filth. Like, no, I can get pretty dirty in the kitchen when we're baking. Like, there's cream flying everywhere. You got that. They're not going to take care of that. That's wear and tear, right? That's something I need to take care of. And any product where there's a manufacturer would cover, as warranty transferred to another homeowner. So I make sure I take care of what's given to me, and I take care of it very well, because if I'm going to pass it down, I want to make sure that they are getting the best of what I've had, because I don't want to sell a house with a broken window, right?
Right.
Coming in. No, I'm not. That's my fault that I broke that window. I should have it replaced.
Yeah. There's a lot of, deferred maintenance that doesn't happen. I was talking to a plumber the other day about a house, and he goes, do you know that people need to be draining their hot water heaters at least once a year?
Yeah.
Just draining it till it's empty to check the sediment. And, there's kind of a filter at the top. And I'm like, filter? Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, whatever. I didn't know that. And so I was like, how do I drain this thing?
Yeah.
So I may have to call someone. So.
Same applies to HVACs. There are keys that you need to take care of with your HVAC system, where you have to clean it every now and then, and that includes flushing it out to being able to keep up with the demand of the heat, especially in Texas. It's going to be running on overdrive. So you want to make sure you do that. I think it's twice a year, every 6 months is where you want to be cleaning it out and flushing it with their fluids. So look at your manufacturer of your HVAC and find their preferred cleaners. That's the one you want to use. So
yeah, because I think a lot of them do it as spring and fall service, to trying to get in there and give it a little tune up and make it all perfect and stuff. Because there's nothing worse than turning on your heater in the winter, like I just did a couple of weeks ago, and it stinks, and it's like, oh gosh,
this is
like horrible,
and it feels very hot too. It's like humidity and like mucky, and it's just like, ugh. It's,
I know. I was like, "What's up with this, Mishigosh? I cannot handle this." So
but
we
that's
just like took off.
but that's also a plus side to a new construction too, is that we have more energy efficient things as well, right? I'm buying a 1915 home or a 1940s home may not be as efficient energy wise as a newer construction would be, right? That's like something that would save me on energy bills, like in the summer where it can be 100 degrees. I don't want to pay $200 on, that bill because I need to run that AC all the time.
Right.
Something I'm
So, what about energy efficiency? I mean, one of the things that I've got a lot of clients that ask about constantly is about the HERS rating and really understanding it and trying to figure out why all these builders are touting it. And it's been around for a while, but I know there's only I think the last number I saw was 65,000 homes in Texas have a HERS rating. But somebody want to tell us what a HERS rating is?
Did you say 65,000 homes in Texas?
Mm-hmm.
HERS rating? That's just kind of...
It's a kind of low number, isn't it?
That's very low because I don't even know how many buildings in Texas there are, because that's...
Yeah.
Honestly, like, that's something you might want to look forward to, right? And don't you want... What is the number where... Because there's a range that you want it to be in, correct?
That range is 0 to 140.
And you want it to be typically between 18 and 24? Or what's the number are we looking at?
I think back in 2020, the average was 58.
58.
On the number, and that actually represented a home that was 42% more energy efficient than homes were back in 2006. And it makes a difference. And there's a lot of builders out there that are touting those HERS, or what they call a home energy efficiency system. It's a HERS index that measures it from here to here and says, hey, where are we going to get on that number? And really, the lower the number, the better. But, there is such a thing as a home being too energy efficient, because the home also has to breathe a little bit as well. Yeah. And we want to make sure that, that we take into consideration that it's going to be able to breathe and not be just so shut the doors and it just like whoosh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That would be real bad news. A lot of windows would be broken. That was the thing. Just that vortex come in and poof, there go the back windows. Yeah.
So Nelson, if somebody calls you and says, hey, I'm thinking about new construction, I know what I'm going to say. I would say, but I want to know what you would say. I'm thinking about going new construction. How do I select that new home community? How do I do that?
Well, if you're coming to me personally, there's one thing I would do, and I have a short clip here to play for everyone. And this is something that I would show, depending on the community. It'd just be a little video, just a brief little video of a new construction. And there'll be many communities that are like this that have new builds going up. And
that's in Georgetown, right?
This is in Georgetown. It's called AeroPoint, and it is by Braun. And realtors have access to so many tools where we can find these communities that will help you. If you want to be within 30 minutes of your work and you don't want to be in North Austin or in Round Rock, for example, or Georgetown, we can find out where these communities are, because if that's something you're looking for, we can definitely find it for you. And if you're looking for a new community for me, I would ask you questions as in, like, what are you exactly looking for? Are you looking... Because one important thing for me is property tax. Do you care about property taxes? Because at new builds, you might find communities that have PIDs and MUDs along with higher tax rates. And that's something that I personally would like to avoid. And I really like sharing my 2 cents to my clients about that.
Yeah, there was, so the PID, can you tell us what a PID is? What is it?
It's mainly, so if you go to a new community and they're, for example, if they have a park or the sidewalk that you walk on, they're going to be charging you for that, because
those public improvement districts.
That's exactly what it is, and that's what they're going to charge you for. It can be an extra. There'll be some builders that are very sneaky and very cheeky, I call it. They don't put that in the property tax because you can't really figure it out, because it's something that is being charged specifically to that community. But they'll say it's $13. They'll say $50 a month extra, but maybe there'll be some that's like $1,300 a year extra just for that. And I go, why would I want to pay for that if a sidewalk should be given? Like, that's something I need, right?
Right. I think the builder's trying to really recoup some of their expenses
Yeah.
and putting in some of the infrastructure and stuff.
Mhm.
Now, if anybody's interested, you can go to look in Dallas, Fort Worth, really Dallas, and Google neighborhoods with PID, because there are, and it's PID, they have a lot of news stories because Dallas Fort Worth got hit with a bunch of these, and lawsuits have been filed, and the legislature just got involved, and we had, starting, I believe it was this year, we had a new PID disclosure for real estate for properties that are in these, because for some of these people, that amount that was financed was 45,000 in one of the neighborhoods in Dallas Fort Worth, and the financing on top of that brought it all the way up to like an $85,000 number. And if they would have known that and taken care of it up front, they could have saved all that interest.
Yeah.
But it is really knowing that. But it's selecting those, builders that have the floor plans that you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
What's that?
You looking for a 2-story? You looking for a 1-story? Do you want a mother-in-law suite? What is it exactly you're looking for? Do you want a kitchen with a window in it? All of those floor plans are through new construction. They may have that. A certain builder may not have a window in the kitchen, right? You might want to find one that does. And we agents, especially at Uncommon, we have access to those tools. And if not, we are going and talking to these new community builders to find out ahead of time for your sake so that we can get what you want.
Yeah. I mean, even when it comes down to pricing, location, and really knowing what the kind of lot premiums are, because, builders always say that, a corner lot has got a premium, and then an appraiser says that's not really a premium there.
Yeah.
But it's knowing what kind of upgrades you can do and what's the reputation of the builder online.
Yeah.
A lot of people have some preconceived notions about what's this builder going to be like, or is it even a good builder to work with?
Yeah, and that's one thing that is also very scary, because you never know what that builder may have these plans sketched out and they've done it themselves. But remember, it's not the actual builder who's constructing the house and doing the everyday work. You need to be going with your agent or doing constant visits to make sure everything's getting done, because they're building hundreds of homes a day, and they're not going to focus with 110% certainty on your home, right? That's our job. We should be doing that for you. Making sure that the bay window that you requested in your master bedroom is there, and that the framing job is complete to that spec. Because if it's not there and you're almost at closing, that's going to be a problem. That's a
and Nelson, you're talking more of a production builder versus like a custom builder that does 5, 6, 7, maybe even 20 homes a year, just on a smaller scale. We're talking about ones that they have phases of contractors, and they kind of go through, and all the framing is done, house, and they just kind of work in a systematic order. And that's what we're mainly talking about.
The video is exactly what Robbie is describing. It's just that it's all systematic. And it's actually really fun to watch when you go, just to see how it goes from step to step. And most homes are in that same phase. And then the next week you go over, you see it, just a chain reaction. And it's kind of actually really fun to watch and just be there. I mean, yesterday we went, and my wife I was at the same spot for my client where we always go, but she did not feel that it was the same street, because so much has changed just in 3 days that it was completely different. And she was unaware of her surroundings at this point. She thought it was 2 streets beforehand. Wow. It's crazy how fast they build too. It's just like boom, 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 boom. And that is why it's very important for us to check on these constructions, because they're going so fast. They're humans. They can miss things. They're not robots, right? We all do it. We're not perfect. So it's better that
pictures are great. That's when you can catch, mistakes and stuff. I know with my clients in the past, we've caught, the wrong staircase going in, or the toilet being in the wrong place right when the and it's hard to tell when it's just a foundation, but when they start framing and seeing, it's like, wait a minute, hold on, that's not quite right. But Carrie, what if you wanted to build on your own lot? Are there any kind of options for somebody who wants to build on their own lot? Maybe they own it, or if they want a custom home or not custom home. I see David Weekley that always is saying, build on your own lot.
Yeah, I've actually got a David Weekly home going up across the street from me where I live, and
Oh wow.
I've been watching that construction process go up, and it looks like it's turning out really nice.
So it's those kind of build on your own lot kind of programs are less expensive than alternative those custom home builders. But typically you've got to arrange all the financing. So you've got to be have some
Right.
credit to do it and some money. And most of the time you're going to have to own those lots.
Mhm.
And the
Yes.
builder will have to get approved with a lender in most cases. And all the work that's completed in with one of those build on your own lot situation is going to be the builder's going to get paid as they complete certain phases, and they have a phase inspection, so they know that okay, it's okay to divvy out this much money.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But then like David Weekly and other builders like that, I think Tilson, there's a bunch of here in
There's a
Texas,
lot. Yeah.
but you can have them do a complete package program where they come out and they can arrange the financing and everything so that you just get the home you want.
Yeah, it takes that burden off your shoulders to project manage your own house.
Yeah.
I do it
Absolutely.
at work. Why do I need to do this on my free time at home, right? I'm gonna prefer to give it to the professionals rather than having that headache all day long. And I mean, building
It
full
is.
custom homes,
It is a headache.
yeah, it's a headache, but it's so much more rewarding too afterwards to be able to move it into the house where you have two powdered bathrooms, right? I wanted two powder bathrooms because I have guests over every weekend, right? I want to have opportunities for people to go to the bathroom rather than sharing my bathroom where I personally like to sit for 15 to 20 minutes. I don't want to be sharing butt cheeks with someone else. I'm sorry. That's not how I work. Like, no.
I like the way you think.
Having two
Happy
powdered
marriage is separate toilets, right?
Exactly. Having two powdered bath might be a thing that you're looking for, and getting that in a custom build, you have more of those options because these architects will be able to plan out what you're looking for. I want to have an extra powder bath, right? That's something that I would want. But that stuff also speaks more money. It's a lot more expensive in these kind of sense, right?
Absolutely.
But
So my parents built a custom home way back in the day, that's where I grew up and stuff. I still remember my mom complaining about the fact that the builder and stuff didn't put even like the skylights and stuff in the right places.
Mhm.
So you do have to be on them or have some kind of representation to be out there and check on things and make sure things are going like you want, depending on the level of customization you have.
And that's something I personally, and I'm sure everyone at Uncommon also feels the same way I do, that we will constantly go and do what we need to do for you if you're busy or if you can't make it, because we are representing you. We are here for you. And I prefer that I go while you're at work and you can't make it and miss that meeting rather than not knowing what happened. I prefer to tell you what happened, and that way I can keep you in the loop. Right.
I've never understood the agent who goes with the client to, sign up for the house, and then shows up for closing, is never there in between. And I know that people do what with that.
They go bye-bye.
They go bye-bye.
They come
Absolutely. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's not fair. You mean, you're supposed to have somebody to bat, and fight for you. But if they don't know what's going on, it's like,
Exactly.
what the heck?
Yeah, and that's sad because a lot can happen in 7 months, 9 months, a lot more can happen. And if you just show up,
you be careful, Mr. Gonna be a newlywed. 9 months is the thing that a lot of things happen.
a lot of things, indeed. Kind of like that example I gave earlier. If you requested a bay window and you don't go to check, or your real estate agent doesn't go to check, you could be in trouble because what they want to, if that's something you really wanted for your crib, for your newborn, that extra 20 square feet, and it's not there, are you going to close? Are they going to close? Who knows, right? You need to make sure you're on top of it because a lot of stuff can happen in a day. As we know, in 3 days, the whole street looks completely different. And it's better to be on top of it as you go. And if there's still some time, be patient because these builders are very busy. And, like I said, they're not perfect. So if you see something out of place for a little bit, maybe let it slide and see if they correct it, because there should be inspections every phase that they go. And if it's something that's not there, they will correct it. But if they don't, you definitely need to voice your opinion at that point because that's something you're paying for.
Absolutely. And we're still seeing supply chain issues.
Oh,
I mean, let's be honest. We still are seeing issues like that happening with materials being ordered. And even if you're doing a custom door, it's,
Mhm.
a lot of that stuff is still, taking some time to get out there. And a lot of builds are being slowed down a little bit. But you're going to want to kind of watch that. And there's not a whole lot they can do about it. It's kind of like trying to buy a car. Go to a car lot today, and it's kind of like, whoa, you got a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
But you just have to be patient and kind of have great communication,
Yeah.
which comes right into our next little phase that we kind of wanted to talk about, which is hey, how do we work with that builder's on-site rep?
Shoot, man, there's a lot of ways you can bet. And one thing I like doing is taking some cupcakes. Get on the good side.
Are you taking Kroger cupcakes or
Oh,
H-E-B
no.
cupcakes, or what? Are you taking
I gotta take my one and only Rain Desserts cupcakes because they're homemade, baked fresh, guaranteed to just melt in your mouth. Like,
You're not throwing any X-Lax or anything in there, right?
No, I cannot. I need these reps to be on my side because they are dealing with a lot of people, and sometimes there's some angry clients that they work with that I'm sorry, I've seen it, I've heard the yelling, and it's just, to me, I hate saying it's disgraceful. Like, control yourself. You need to build a rapport with the builder on site because they're the ones that will be overseeing you, right? You don't want to lose your house the day before closing just because, I'm gonna say it, you were a bitch. Like, that's me. I don't want to be that person. Like, I would hate to lose my wife's house because I was saying, hey, that window, it's not letting enough sun through. What's that? Their control. They might not like it, and there goes the house.
Which you're highlighting a huge thing here, because what people really need to understand is that those builder reps work for the builder. They're an employee, and the contracts for the new builds are written to the benefit of the builder. So if they don't like you, and it just kind of works, then they find a way to cancel that contract. That was happening a year ago and 2 years ago, big time. People would just ask a question and boom, your contract's gone.
Yeah, they sell their house, they're going to closing, boom, there goes their contract. Where are you gonna go now, right? You can't.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to risk that. It's very important that you build a good rapport with them because everything is in favor of them. They're going to CYA themselves, right? But you need an agent who's going to read this document for you, and you're going to read it too because you're signing it, but we're going to make sure that you're in well hands. And if you have a question, you're going to ask us. I hope so, because there's some red flags in there, and by red flags I mean there's probably a lot.
But a consumer's going to live there in that neighborhood, so it's really kind of crucial because even after the build is done, they're still going to have to drive into that neighborhood, and they're still going to have to see that builder's rep until it's sold out. Yeah. So you need someone to fight on your behalf. Exactly. But I think everybody needs to really understand, and let's just put it out there because it's the truth. You have to take your realtor with you the first time you go out there. Don't go running out there and then try to go tote a realtor with you because the builders won't work with it.
They're not going to respect that.
Yeah, and I'm talking, don't go out there and talk to somebody. Drive around, do some stuff. If they ask you your name, don't give them your name. Yeah. They are not your friend. They are an employee of the company that's building the house. Not your friend, not your representation.
I hate saying it, but that employer is putting food on their plates. That is who they are loyal to. So they are going to do whatever it takes for them to do what they need to do. And get yourself an agent who's going to go and walk with you step by step, because that's the important part.
Who's going to fight for you.
Yeah, exactly. And by fighting, we're not mean like putting your dukes up and like going ham. No.
Come on, Nelson. Take it to the mattresses.
We're being professionally about it. We're not going to yell. We're not going to scream. We're going to get and fight on your behalf in a professional manner. We're not going to do this disrespectfully, because disrespect is just going to be one close step to just ripping that contract in half, and they're going to sell it to the next person to make that extra money because they know they can sell it for more.
Yeah.
And it's sad. We've seen it last year. Multiple builders have canceled minutes before to sell it $80,000, $150,000 more, just because there's a demand for homes. And I'm sorry, you're not filling it. They can find it somewhere else, and they'll pay for it. So
And there's a lot to be said that, that builder's rep is, basically the face of the builder, and they're just having to really disseminate information that they are not in control of. So it's having to finesse that and really understanding that the builder, the supervisor of the neighborhood, the area, the construction supervisor, if you want to call them that, they're really going to be working with the builder and the planning and stuff to establish those schedules and budgets and stuff, and to really kind of outlining, because the builder's already decided, whether it's a spec home, which you can't make really any changes to, or if it's just a new build where you can make changes to a lot of the, the color of the wall, the carpet, the finishes and stuff like that. Because you really need to understand that the client has to have some kind of understanding planning, right? You got to know when, it's kind of like having a baby, 9 months, or hopefully right around 9 months, that baby's going to show up. It's not always the case with houses. And sometimes they can take longer depending on, what is available and what they're doing. And the demand is just, there's not a whole lot of being super crazy. And we still have buyers having to go to the design center over Zoom. And I love me some Zoom, but the color represented in a Zoom meeting is not going to be, I'm touchy. I like to touch the finishes, and, the cabinets feel like this. I want to be able to feel it. And how thick is that granite? I don't want to just look at it over a screen. It's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, definitely. If you can't make that Zoom meeting, the design studio meeting in person, but you can Zoom, send your agent. That's the whole point. We're here for you. We go for you on your behalf to be able to describe those things if you can't make it in person, right? I did that for one of my clients. They were out of the country, and their Zoom appointment was the second day they landed. So I went for them while they were on the Zoom call, and we did everything. They asked me questions. How does it feel? Does it look good to you? Right? But I know my client on a personal basis because I've gotten to know them so well that I know what their likes are, what their dislikes are. And if you see it on screen and come on, let's be real. They're probably using an iPad or a Surface camera. The resolution on that camera is not great.
It's horrible.
You need resolution 4K or better to be able to help you out, to tell you what you're looking for, to help you make that decision, right? And if you can't make it, try to push it back to when you can make it, if they'll allow it. If not, you need to have your agent do it for you, because we're representation for you, right? That's what it is. So I would prefer to go in with you, even if you don't have a Zoom. If you go in person, I still want to be there with you, right? It's going to be me. And I'm sure everyone at Uncommon feels the same way. I know Carrie would do it, right, Carrie?
Absolutely.
Just come on in, because it's actually fun to be able to see how the steps that they take to design everything for you, because it's you. It's telling a story of what you like and what you are. So I honestly love going to those things.
Yeah, we're getting messages. Let Carrie talk. Let Carrie talk. Carrie's been sick and she has limited voice, and she's trying to kick in when she can, but she's just we've twisted her arm and held her up. We've got her propped up just to be here because we wanted her to be here. And so that's why she's not talking. It's not that we're trying to talk over her. We're just, she's kicking in when she can.
If one thing is, when you come to Austin and you come to Texas, there's some allergies. You may come from California and not have allergies. I never had allergies growing up, and I get here and all of a sudden I got allergies. Like my face
kicks your butt, right?
It's like a slap in the face. And it's coming up to yellow season, where our cars are going to be painted yellow here in a little bit. And you two know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, time to don't even watch it until it's all done, because there's no point.
Hey, I'm in love with my garage. It's just like in and out, and get that blower to blow it off. And I can't help it. I am nerdy about a car, I guess. And I wasn't always this way, but I take it to the car wash 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah. There are car washes here in Texas, and especially up in Round Rock that I know of, that they do like monthly subscriptions. You pay money, you go as unlimited times that you want, because they
shout out Arbor Car Wash.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
They get so dirty driving up, and they know it's just, there's dust everywhere, there's pollen everywhere. You need to have a nice car, because let's be real, there are some aerodynamic factors that come into a dirty car. You're not going to get the same gas mileage if you're driving with a clean car than you are with a dirty car, right? You need to make sure that buffed and waxed.
Right, and we're out at those new construction and on the highway and
real
stuff like
concepts.
that.
Yep.
We're checking on those properties and stuff, but you know, now you got me thinking about financing. So I can't help it. I'm trying to think of financing and how it works with new construction, and I want to make sure everybody understands that every builder out there is going to try and be talking you into using their own lender. Right?
Of course.
But please understand that there are some actual lenders, excuse me, who can match some of the deals that are offered by the builders, and some that can't.
Yeah.
So if you have your own lender, you could probably stick with them, and there's going to be some incentives that they may throw away as the builder, but it's you end up paying for it in the long run.
Yes, you do.
Sometimes you can't really hide everything, can you? Nelson?
And you can't hide. No, the internet knows everything, or as my fellow friend once said, it's on the line. But you'll find it everywhere. And these builders, they have their own lenders specifically. And me, honestly, I don't want my builder knowing my financial status or any of that kind of stuff, my private information. They don't need to know that. They just need to know that I can afford it and I can buy it. But there are also some builders that require you, especially now, they're not trying to sell to investors or to a second home. They want to make sure that you are actually buying the house and it's going to be owner occupied. And by that, they're going to do a background check, and they want you to go through their pre-approval stage with their lender or pre-qualification stage with their lender, just to make sure that all of that is true, that you will be living there. It's not a second or third home, or that you are an investor. Now, there are cheeky people out there, and by cheeky people, I mean they'll try very hard to try to get homes in communities where they're not supposed to be there for investment purposes.
Right.
And it's happened, but the builder will always find out, and they end up just tearing that contract and putting it back on the market because it's hard, but people do things like that, and it's unfortunate, but they'll find out. And going through their lending process is something that is kind of scary because I don't want them knowing my situation all the time or 100% of it. I just need to be they just need to know the details enough to know that I am by the home. So
and nobody wants another credit pull on their credit report.
No, because it's a soft one, but then it turns into a hard one, and that's a hard credit check. So I don't know, but they offer incentives, don't they? Like some builders will offer incentives just to get you to try to use their lender.
There used to be a lot more incentives than there are today.
Yeah.
There are just not that many incentives. There's some in some communities and stuff like that. But let's think about questions. I'm going to change the dialogue. We're getting close to our time with everybody. And what are some of those questions that need to be addressed that realtors need to be thinking about, but clients need to understand that an agent is there to have their back. And even if that agent isn't always present, there's some questions that consumers need to know that their agents are asking.
Yep.
Y'all want to talk about that for a few minutes? I mean, overall. And by the way, everybody, we're going to have a part 2 because there's a lot more that we need to talk about. Yeah. And Nelson is just like me, and Carrie is it's kind of scary, but they're very passionate about new construction, and I love new construction and love getting out there. I actually have a whole playlist on my YouTube channel about, going out to a home community for, I went out every Sunday and was doing a 360 video tour of one of the new constructions that we did, just to kind of give people, the semblance of what happens.
Yeah.
But it's kind of crazy. But what are some of those questions that you can think of off the top of your head that, need to be addressed?
For me, I want to make sure what I pay for is what I'm going to get. I want to make sure that we are agreement in a price, because that is very scary. You'll find builders now, especially with supply chain issues, that, okay, you were at this price, but we have to increase it X amount because lumber went up or because the stainless steel went up, right? Make sure that
appliances are hard to get. Yeah.
Appliances are very, they're back ordered. I think it's 2 to 3 months on certain appliances. And that's like, if they say they're going to use GE, but now they have to go buy something else because their supply chain is blocked. They have to do it, and they have to charge you the difference for it.
Right.
So make sure that the house that you are buying though is locked in at a price, right? Yes, there'll be room for, that's why you need to read the contract very thoroughly, because they could say that your house is locked in at X amount, but maybe there could be an increase on some of the appliances or the tile or carpet, for example, right? Because yeah, prices change every day, especially with today, like inflation going up, right? We're going to see some price increases, and it's going to be all around for the house, or it can be specifically for a specific item. So make sure
And,
you ask those questions.
and typically a builder will do it based upon the number of contracts that are written. And they used to lay it out and kind of, as the complex or the neighborhood is being sold out, they get to a certain percentage points, but they're actually doing it on the number of contracts written sometimes.
Yeah.
And then they're actually trying to forecast the season so they'll match the season too.
Oh, definitely.
But having that estimate of occupancy, when are they going to get that certificate of occupancy, and when am I going to be able to close and move in? That's a big one that we're seeing even triple, where it's slowing down a little bit. And a lot of people think that, hey, we're going to be closed in 2 months and we just broke ground. No, you're not.
No.
So a lot of people can build homes really, really fast, but we need to make sure that we have a pretty good date, or because you got to plan your whole life, right?
Yep. Well,
But even when Nelson was talking about price, it always makes me kind of think of those allowances for options and even upgrades, because we all like nice stuff. Champagne taste, right? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So, I mean, it really can be somewhere that a client can get in trouble with.
Yeah.
Because you can over improve that home. So you got to really, really, really know what is going on there.
Yeah.
Can you think of another question that you would typically ask for a new builder?
I'm gonna take this one right here, but this is something personally favorite is, can you bring your own inspector, or can you do your own inspections? That's something that I am actually currently going through right now, and they actually got a text just right now. We're doing this, and said to my client, hey, we're doing this inspection tomorrow. Do you want to bring in your own inspector as well? And that's something that I liked with this builder, because that is very important.
Yeah, those independent third-party inspections are good. And what people have to understand is that the builder is human.
Yeah.
It is built by humans, that home is. So they make mistakes.
Yeah.
And the builder may say, oh, that's okay, blah, 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 blah. And then an inspector is going to really look at it and say, no, it's not. And, we've been able to get them to fix some things where we've had to have that issue, because, even where they've gone in, and I think this is a key question. Can the builder substitute?
Exactly.
What substitution, abilities do they have with materials? And is it like kind, or does it have to be better? Because really sometimes that happens where they can't even get the brick, right?
Yeah.
We're still waiting on some of the brick to come in. So where are they on some of that, stuff?
Especially with supply chain issues right now, if they can't get it for some sort of item that you need, right? That is a crucial question, because if that is, you really were planning to buy this house because they had beautiful quartz options, and that's the only reason why you went with them. Let's just say that's it. But they run out of it. What's the material? Are they going to substitute it? Are they going to find something that you like more or better? Are they willing to be open about it? Those are questions you need to be aware of. And you never know, like, these problems may arise. We're not perfect. Nobody is perfect. And stuff happens every day. So we need to be like chess, 3, 5, 6 steps ahead of the game, because you can run into any problem.
Yeah. One of the things that a lot of my past clients have fallen in love with has been the elevation of the home. A certain look and style or height. And, usually a builder will have the same floor plan, a production will, and will have different elevations on the front of the home and the sides and the back. And those elevations are secured to certain lots. So you can't come in last minute and build, whatever house you want on whatever lot. They have certain lots that will hold certain homes. And that's always something. If you like a particular elevation, your agent needs to be making sure that time-wise, you still have time to find a lot and make that choice.
Yep.
Because you certainly don't want to back up to a 4-lane road to being at the front or something like that.
Yeah, because HOA, they have the builder, but then there's also sometimes HOA at these builders, right? And there might be restrictions from this HOA that is restricting the builder, that therefore is restricting you on certain things. So
Absolutely.
it's a chain reaction and a domino effect that it's good to ask these questions ahead of time to know what you're getting yourself into, and moving your shed from your previous house to a community that may not allow sheds, right? So
Absolutely. And there are those out there, and it's
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah.
We talked about the home warranties earlier, but it's really kind of crucial to have home warranties. Can you think of anything else, either one of you, that really, I mean, you could bring in a home run, Carrie, in the last, inning here or something, but can you think of something that would really be crucial for a buyer to know, talk to their agent? Did you get this information?
I always ask about mineral rights. Who owns the mineral rights under that house?
That's a good one.
My buyer getting it?
Good.
That-
Good job there.
Wow.
Yeah, because some people.
Texas, y'all, we got minerals.
There's gas everywhere. There's all
That's
sorts of
right.
stuff.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good one. And a lot of those production builders will keep those mineral rights in some, but
Mhm.
not every one of them will.
Yeah. You
So
never
that is
know.
good.
The
Yeah.
previous owner could own the mineral rights too, and they might have been ahead of the game.
Right.
And the builder now doesn't own it, but the previous owner still has those rights. So
Absolutely.
that's something that always needs to come up, because you never know. You could be putting your sprinklers in the back and you're just digging extra deep. Who knows why? And boom, something, you find something. Is it
Jed
yours?
Clampett over there. Yeah.
Found yourself some treasure. Like, hey, is it mine or is it yours? What's going on here? Maybe I'll just cover it and not say anything. That's not how it works.
That is. See, Carrie, you brought a home run there right in the last inning. You've taken us all in. I guess they call that a grand slam. So, oh my gosh. So we have been going on and on about new construction, and there's really a lot more that we need to cover and we want to cover, because our whole idea here is to educate and empower. And, there's a lot from even talking about change orders and phases of building and really what's going on in those inspections. So we're going to make this a two-parter, and we're going to do 5 more next week and really kind of rock this home, not so that you just know how wonderful we are, but to really help you get some education out of buying a home, because it is really critical and it's exciting.
Oh yeah,
but you've got to know what's going on.
definitely. It is. It is an exciting experience to do it and to see it from scratch, to go up. It's just beautiful. And once you get through that door, it just makes you feel so much more at home. The fact that it's completely yours.
Right?
Yeah.
Getting those keys.
Yep.
We got a long way to get to getting those keys, but that is a brilliant thing.
Yes, sir.
All right. Until next time, I'm Robbie English. We've got
Nelson.
Shane and
Carrie Pizza.
Carrie Sietsema. You can find our information in the show notes below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to stay in touch with what other shows are coming your way.
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all.
I'll see
It
you
was
guys
great
later.
to see y'all.
Bye-bye.